The throttle's vibrating so hard in my left hand, I can barely hold it. Port engines throwing oil across the windscreen, black smoke pouring back over the wing, and I can see Schilling at the edge of the hard stand, waving both arms in an X. Abort! Abort! But there's 38 P-47s stacked up behind me, pilots already spooling engines, and Jerry's inbound to strafe us in maybe 4 minutes. I've got maybe 3 before this engine seizes completely, and the runway's only got 3,200 feet before it drops into that drainage ditch. My hand's on the throttle. Schilling's still waving, the tower's screaming abort, and I shove it forward anyway. I slam both throttles to the firewall, and the good engine screams to life while the dying one coughs like it's choking on its own blood. The whole aircraft lurches forward, pulling left, and I'm stomping right rudder so hard my leg's shaking. Oil's covering half the windscreen now. Can't see anything but that white center line and the instruments. 30 knots, 40. The engine's howling and rattling, and I can smell smoke in the cockpit. Electrical smoke. Something's shorting out. 55 knots, and I realize I can't abort anymore. Too fast. Too committed. The runway's disappearing under me, and I'm flying blind on a one-engine takeoff with the entire 56th Fighter Group depending on me clearing the runway. I'm 98 years old. That was 80 years ago this December, and I still can't answer the question, how did I know the engine would hold? Because it shouldn't have. The engineering reports afterward showed cylinder head number 3 had a stress fracture that went through 3/4 of the wall. The piston was throwing fragments. The oil pump was cavitating. By every calculation, every rule in the handbook, every maintenance standard we had, that engine should have catastrophically failed before I cleared the runway, should have seized, should have torn itself apart, should have sent me cartwheeling into the drainage ditch at 90 knots in a ball of aviation fuel and ammunition. But it didn't, and I've spent 80 years trying to figure out why. Boxted Airfield, Essex, England, December 1944, the 56th Fighter Group, the Wolf Pack. I was a captain then, flight leader, 28 kills. That morning, the port engine had been acting up during pre-flight. Romanowski mentioned the oil pressure wasn't quite right, but we'd flown with worse. The mission, bomber escort to Frankfurt. 300 B-17s going deep, and they needed us to keep the FW-190s off their backs. My hands still shake when I think about that mission clock. 0847 hours. Takeoff scheduled for 0850. The Luftwaffe raid warning came at 0844. 6 minutes. What we didn't know, the Mustangs returning from night intruder patrol had already spotted the 190s. They were 4 minutes out. Not 6. 4. Let me take you back 30 seconds before that throttle push. I'm sitting in the cockpit, engine running rough, and over the radio, Falcon Leader, this is Rover. Bandits, multiple bandits inbound. Vector 270, Angels 8, 4 minutes out. I looked down the flight line. 38 P-47s. Some with engines still being turned over, some with pilots not even strapped in yet. And I'm the lead bird. Schilling's running toward me now, yelling, though I can't hear him. The port engine's temperature gauge is at 275 degrees, 50 degrees past red line. Oil pressure at 15 pounds, dropping. I think about Helen, my wife, married 8 months before I shipped out. I think about Lieutenant Quirk, 2 aircraft back, 20 years old, 3 missions. And I realize if I abort, we scramble the whole sequence. We're sitting ducks when the 190s arrive. They'll catch us on the ground and murder us, all of us. I key the radio. Tower, Falcon Leader, I'm rolling. Falcon Leader, abort. Your port engine? I know what my port engine's doing. I'm rolling. I look at Schilling one last time. He gives me this tiny nod. Not approval, just acknowledgement. 60 knots. 70. The tail comes up, and I can see past the oil streaks. The end of the runway's rushing at me. The P-47's heavy, full fuel, full ammo, 8 guns loaded. She doesn't want to fly. 80 knots. The left wing drops. Bad engines just drag now. And I'm full right aileron, full right rudder, fighting her. 90 knots. Rotation speed is 95. The engine temperature hits 300 degrees, and that's when I hear the first cylinder let go. A sound like someone firing a rifle inside the engine cowling. Here's what they don't tell you about single-engine takeoffs in a P-47. The rudder authority at low speed is garbage. You're flying 9 tons with one engine making 2,000 horsepower and the other making maybe 400 and a whole lot of violence. 92 knots, 94. The left wing's trying to drop again. I'm holding full right stick, full right rudder, my leg cramping, can't see the white line through the oil, flying on instruments. Something goes bang in the engine cowling, and the whole aircraft shudders. I think I've lost it. But the temperature holds at 300, and the rattling continues. 96 knots. I pull back on the stick. The nose wheel comes off first, but the mains stay planted. I'm running out of runway. That drainage ditch may be 400 feet ahead. I keep pulling, and she lifts. Barely. Grudgingly. 10 feet off the deck. 20 feet. Gears still down. I don't dare retract it yet. Falcon 2 rolling. Falcon 3 rolling. They're following me because I'm airborne, because the sequence is started, because that's what you do. 100 knots. 110. I risk a glance at the port engine. The cowling split along the top seam, and I can see orange glow inside. The exhaust manifolds glowing cherry red. Smoke pouring out. The engine coughs. The RPM drops from 1,800 to 1,400, and my stomach drops with it, because if it quits now, at 120 feet and 115 knots, I'm dead. I feather the prop, kill the dead engine before it kills me, and the drag drops off. The wing comes level. I can breathe again. Single engine, climbing, barely. It's cold up here. December in England, 1,000 feet altitude. I can see my breath even though I'm sweating. The windscreen's still covered in oil on the left side. I'm flying half blind. Behind me, the flight's forming up. I can hear them. Falcon 5 joining on leader. Falcon 7 visual. Then all Falcon flights, rover control. Update on bandits. Now 3 minutes out. Descending through Angels 5. They're coming in low and fast. 3 minutes. We'd lost a minute. Jerry was early. I do the math. I'm at 1,500 feet. Climbing at 400 feet per minute on one engine. We need altitude. Speed. Time we don't have. Falcon leader. Falcon 9. I'm having trouble with my... Quirk. 20 years old. 3 missions. Falcon 9, not now. Form on my right wing and stay there. Yes, sir, but my engine... Your engine's fine. Form up. Hard words. Necessary. I can hear the fear in his voice, and fear spreads. 2,000 feet. The flight's forming. Not clean. Quirk's lagging, but we're airborne. We're armed. We're climbing. All Falcon flights, bandits now 2 minutes. Vector 280, 2,500 feet. The FW190s are probably at 3,000 diving. And that's when I see them. 12 black dots, low on the western horizon, sun behind them, coming in fast. First instinct, run. get the flight away, gain altitude. Second instinct, my guy's on the ground, still vulnerable. Third instinct, this is what we do. I key the radio. All Falcon flights, Bandits 12 o'clock low, 3 miles, finger 4 formation, prepare to engage. My flight's at 3,000 feet. The 190s are at maybe 2,500 diving, headed straight for Boxted. They haven't seen us yet. Sun's in their eyes. But they will. 20 seconds before they spot us. Do I bounce them from above or position between them and the airfield and force them to go through us? Not really a choice. Falcon flight, hard left, descending turn. We're cutting them off. I roll left. Good engine on the inside, bad engine feathered, and the P-47 comes around heavy and slow. Behind me, the flight follows. Falcon 5, visual on Bandits. Falcon 7, I'm too wide. Falcon 9, where do I... Stay in formation. That's me yelling, because this only works if we stay together. The 190s are closer, 1 mile, half a mile. They see us now. The formation wavers, starts to split, but they're committed. 12 of them diving at 400 miles per hour and 38 of us climbing into their path. They split. 4 go left, 4 go right, 4 come straight up the middle. Break, break, engage at will. And the sky becomes chaos. A 190 flashes past my canopy, so close I can see the pilot's face. The oil streaks on his cowling just like mine, and I haul the stick back, trying to follow, but the P-47's too heavy, too slow, and he's gone. Tracers everywhere, ours, theirs, crossing like deadly spider webs. Falcon 7, I'm hit, I'm hit. Falcon 3, on my wing, I need... Radio discipline's gone. Everyone's yelling. I'm trying to track the 190s, trying to keep sight of my guys, trying to fly an overweight bird on one engine in a turning dogfight at 3,000 feet. A 190 makes a mistake, pulls up instead of diving, and I've got a shot. Not a good shot, but a shot. I punch the trigger, and 850 caliber guns hammer. The bird shudders and slows. I'm walking the tracers onto his tail, seeing them spark off his armor, and then he's smoking. Not a kill, but he breaks off, dives away, out of the fight. Falcon leader, 9 here, I've got 2 on me, I can't shake 'em. Quirk, the kid. I scan the sky, find him 1,000 feet below, 2 190s on his 6. He's scissoring, trying to evade, but they're better than he is. 9, hard right now. He breaks right. The 190s follow, and I roll inverted and dive. The P-47 accelerates like a brick, 300 knots, 350, 400. The airframe shaking, controls going stiff, diving almost vertical, watching the 190s in my sight. Lead 190 fires. I see the cannon shells arcing toward Quirk's tail. I fire from 800 yards, way too far. But one of the 50 cal rounds finds something because the 190's canopy shatters and he breaks off hard. Pull out, pull out, pull out. I haul back on the stick. 4 Gs, 5, 6. Gray creeping into my vision. The good engine screaming. Altimeter unwinding. 2,000 feet, 1,500, 1,500. Level flight at 400 feet. Quirk's still alive. The second 190's gone. Falcon leader, this is 7, I'm hit bad. Losing oil, losing altitude. I look, see him streaming white smoke heading east. 7, can you make the channel? Negative. I'm putting her down. Copy 7. Good luck. I watch him descend toward the English countryside, line up on a field, disappear behind the trees. The 190s are breaking off, running. They came to strafe a defenseless airfield and ran into 38 angry Thunderbolts. Now they're low on fuel and looking for home. All Falcon flights do not pursue. Reform on me. We won. We saved the field. We saved the bomber's escort mission, but we lost 7, and I still had to fly home on one engine. The flight forms up, slower, quieter. I count them, 37. We're 1 short. 7's down somewhere near Colchester, hopefully alive. My engine temperatures finally dropped, 275 degrees, because the good engine's not working so hard, just maintaining altitude, heading home. The oil on the windscreens dried into a black crust. I have to lean forward and look through the right quarter to see the airfield coming up. Boxted's still there. No craters, no burning aircraft, no bodies. The 190s never made it through. Landing's tricky on one engine. You don't have the power to correct mistakes. But the bird's lighter now. Burned through fuel in the fight. And she settles onto the runway almost gently. I taxi to the hard stand. Cut the good engine. Sit there in the silence. Romanowski's already running toward me. When I pop the canopy, he's climbing up the wing before the prop stops turning. "Sir, I told you the oil pressure was—" "I know what you told me." He looks at the port engine, the split cowling, the oil covering half the aircraft, the scorch marks. "Jesus Christ, sir." "Yeah." Quirk lands 10 minutes after me. Taxi's up, shaking, literally shaking when he climbs out. He walks over, doesn't salute, doesn't say anything, just nods. "You did good, 9. You saved my life, sir. You would have been fine." We both know that's a lie, but sometimes lies are what you need. 7, Lieutenant Marcus from Kansas City, made it down safe. Broken ankle, but safe. They found him in a pasture outside Colchester, surrounded by cows, trying to explain to a confused farmer why there was a P-47 in his field. What I didn't know yet, wouldn't know for 3 more days, the bombers we escorted that day made it to Frankfurt and back with only 2 losses, lowest loss rate in a month, because we were there, because we got airborne, because I shoved that throttle forward when every instinct said, "Don't." They grounded me for a week. Not punishment, precaution. Made me talk to the flight surgeon, made sure I wasn't rattled. Stupid question. Of course I was rattled. Everyone was rattled. You don't dogfight at 3,000 feet and walk away unrattled. But rattled doesn't mean unable. The port engine on that P-47, number 67, HVA, they tore it down completely. Found the stress fracture in cylinder 3. Found metal fragments in the oil pump. Found evidence of pre-ignition in 2 other cylinders. Romanowski wrote in his report, "This engine should have failed catastrophically during takeoff sequence, unable to explain why it did not." I flew 42 more missions after that day, shot down 6 more German aircraft, survived the war, came home to Helen, started a family, lived a normal life that felt anything but normal. Here's what that one takeoff cost. 7 never flew combat again. Ankle healed wrong, left him with a limp. He became an instructor stateside, taught hundreds of pilots, died in 1987. Heart attack. His daughter told me at the funeral he never talked about the war much. Quirk, Lieutenant William Quirk, finished his tour, 23 missions. No kills, but he brought his bird home every time. Became a crop duster in Iowa after the war. Died in 1994, age 70. Left behind 4 kids, 9 grandchildren. His son told me his dad used to tell a story about a crazy captain who saved his life by diving on 2 190s from a mile up. I asked him, "Did your dad ever say if he thought I was brave or stupid?" The son laughed. Said his dad's answer was always, "Both." Marcus, the one who went down in the pasture, he married the farmer's daughter. stayed in England, had 5 kids, 14 grandchildren, 21 great-grandchildren last I heard. Quirk's 4 kids, his 9 grandchildren. They exist because I dove on those 190s. Marcus's family, an entire branch of humanity that wouldn't exist if he'd been strafed on the ground at Boxted. 7 students, the pilots he taught, all ripples from one burning engine. I don't know how many lives were saved because I took off that day. Could be dozens, could be hundreds if you count the ripples far enough. The bombers we escorted, the targets they destroyed, the soldiers on the ground. It's impossible to calculate. All I know is this. I shoved the throttle forward because 38 aircraft were dependent on me. And everything that came after, everything good, everything terrible, every life saved and every life lost, it all traces back to that moment. I'm 98 years old. Helen's gone. Died in 2003. Most of the 56 fighter groups gone too. Quirk's gone. Marcus is gone. Seven's gone. Romanowski's gone. I'm one of the last ones left who remembers Boxted on that December morning, who remembers the sound of that cylinder letting go at 96 knots. Who remembers Quirk's voice on the radio, scared and young and asking for help he didn't think would come? Sometimes people ask me, was it worth it? The risk, the fear, the engine that should have killed me? I don't know how to answer that. Worth implies I had a choice, and I'm not sure I did. When you're the flight lead and the bandits are inbound and your guys are depending on you, the choice makes itself. You don't think about it. You just shove the throttle forward and hope the laws of physics feel generous that day. What I do know, there's a family in England that exists because of a burning engine. There's grandchildren in Iowa who exist because I happened to look down at the right moment. There's students of a man from Kansas City who learned to fly because he survived long enough to teach them. I think about that sometimes. Think about the weight of it. All those lives, all those choices, all those ripples spreading out from one moment of mechanical violence and human stubbornness. They gave me medals after the war, Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, other ones I can't remember. They're in a box somewhere. My grandson has them, I think. But the real medal, the one that matters, is knowing that Romanowski was wrong. The engine didn't betray the laws of physics. It just held together long enough. That's all any of us can do. Hold together long enough and hope it matters. I still can't smell burning oil without being back there. 22 years old, 1 engine on fire, 38 lives depending on me making the right choice. I shoved the throttle forward, and somehow we all made it home.